Hey kiddies, it's Triple Feature Tuesday once again, and this week it's Black Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th is here, this coming Friday, so you've got 3 days to figure out what you will be doing with your Friday the 13th. As always, I will be watching more Friday the 13th, because Jason is wonderful. Oh, I just love the Friday the 13th. It's funny because I grew up not liking horror movies, but then, once I got over my deathly fear of Freddy Krueger, just a whole new world opened up to me. And since this is Black Awesomeness month, we'll be bringing back a triple feature that I had written about, but never did a video for, the badass black guys of Friday the 13th. Our menu is going to include Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, Jason Goes to Hell the Final Friday, and Jason X. Now the thing about Friday the 13th movies is, by and large, the history of African-American men and women was not great. Our first entries were in Friday the 13th Part 3, 3D, and they were the gang members, one black guy, one black girl, and a white guy. I don't remember any of the character names. I'll be honest, other than friggin' Shelly in Friday the 13th Part 3, I don't remember any character names, because Friday the 13th Part 3 is not very great. Shelly pissed off the aforementioned gang, and they followed Shelly and the poor girl that Shelly was trying to get his rocks off with the whole weekend, back to the farm. They went back to the barn to try to burn the barn down and thus get property damage revenge, because Shelly, on purpose, ran over their bikes because they had embarrassed him in front of the girl that he was never, ever going to have sex with. Unfortunately, Jason was there. That was where he was recuperating after the roughing up that he received at the end of Friday the 13th Part 2. So, in fairly short order, he kills the white guy and the black girl with, I believe, a pitchfork, and then attempts to kill the black guy, Ali. His name is Ali, or Ali. A-L-I. I'll go with Ali. Him, he tries to beat to death with a piece of wood, thus being one of the only real times that Jason has failed to kill somebody that didn't get away. Like, there have been occasions where people have gotten away, but Jason hasn't really been trying to kill them. I mean, he's trying to kill them, but they got away. This one, he just failed to kill this person. And, I mean, it's inconsistent, but it's forgivable, because this is before Part 6, where Jason became God's holy warrior of morality. And so, it's just, he was just a man. Unfortunately, Ali comes back to try to stop Jason later, but fails completely. But, still not a great entry. It's a shame they had to be the first one they had black people in was Part 3, because Part 3. Known main African-American characters in Part 4. Part 5, it's sort of a mixed bag, because it's hideously embarrassing for African-Americans as, a race in horror movies, but it's hilarious. It's one of my favorite Friday the 13th deaths, or at least I think it's the second funniest one they ever had. The first one, of course, being the wheelchair death in Part 2. Part 5 features actually a whole family. They don't get killed. Getting ahead of myself. In the halfway house that Tommy ended up in after his semi-psychotic break after killing Jason in self-defense, excuse me, lawyer. Tommy is in a halfway house. The kitchen is run by an elderly African-American fellow who seems very, very nice. And his grandson is staying with them either permanently or just for the summer, it seems. And he is the self-proclaimed Reggie the Reckless. And I believe he used to be on Different Strokes. I think he was friends with Gary Coleman, I'm not sure. Reggie goes to visit his older brother, Demon, at the trailer park where Demon has checked in. Demon has one of those really sweet house van deals. Demon is played by Miguel Nunez, And we love Miguel Nunez because he was one of the punks in Return of the Living Dead. He pops up. He was Joanna Man. He pops up in Black Dynamite. He's in Harlem Nights, which we talked about last week. And everybody disagrees with me at work about Harlem Nights. It's just weird because the entire rest of the world disagrees with them on Harlem Nights. But that's neither here nor there. We like Miguel Nunez, is the point. And he's there with his lady friend. And they have, a fairly nice little bonding moment with Reggie while Tommy's off being crazy. After Reggie and company leave, Demon has to go to the bathroom because them enchiladas is acting up on him. And he scurries, and he actually scurries to the trailer park outhouse where he tries to, just conduct his business. Unfortunately, there's a figure outside that's shaking the outhouse and freaking him out. And it turns out it's just this girl who was just messing with him, which is fun. And then they start singing to each other while he's pooping. I don't get it. But then everything goes silent and things get shaken up again. And it turns out now Jason is there. Or, Jason, because it's part 5, but we're not talking about that. Jason has killed Demon's girl and proceeds to impale him through the outhouse walls while he is still on the throne. It's hilarious and sad. It's really quite pathetic, but wow. We had one main character in part 6 that was African American. I believe her character name was Sissy. She's just one of the counselors. Because remember, part 6 is the one time they actually let kids stay at this camp, which is hilarious. You don't really see what happens to her on screen. You see the aftermath. Jason yanks her, and it's really Jason this time. Jason yanks her through a window back into the cabin, and as near as I can tell, it just rips every part of her body apart from every other part of her body. The most you see of her is blood everywhere, and then her head pops up to freak out other counselors, which is pretty good. And so, she was a good sport. She came up with, she was trying to come up with a card game for Camp Blood, which, well, that amused me. Part 7, my favorite of the Jason films, featured a couple, an actual couple, man and a woman, which was weird because apparently every guy on the set was gay in that one. I forget how the girl dies. They're both in the van, having done what they needed to do. Oh yeah, now I remember. Jason crushes the boy's head as he's outside trying to get the attention of what he thinks is his friend. And then the noisemaker that he was blowing into gets shoved into the girl's eye. So, one good example of Jason brute force, and of course this is Kane Hodder Jason, so it's just all about the brute force. And 2 good improvisation with what was on hand.